we say goodbye to a charismatic personality and an immaculate individual who hosted one of the most popular game shows for 36 years. He passed away Sunday, but will continue to be remembered as an icon. Is Alex Trebek. Had to do that.
Yeah.
Alex Trebek passed away, age of 80 on Sunday.
You can't see it because it's only on the stream, but I'm doing a slideshow of him when he was young. He was a good-looking dude. Holy hell!
He was.
I mean, he was a good look. He was a distinguished gentleman at every age, at the up until the end. But man, these young photos, oh, he looked good, man. He looked damn good. And then he had like the porn stash and the mini fro. But
he was a good-looking guy, man. Excellent montage. I caught the montage.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, he's... I mean, what can you say about Alex Trebek, too? I mean, he passed away after his 18-month battle with pancreatic cancer, and he beat the odds. He only had about an 18% chance to live a year with this, because pancreatic cancer still... I mean, my mother is a nurse. She could tell you way more, but all I know is pancreatic cancer is one of those cancers they still truly haven't figured out. Yeah. They haven't really figured out how to they can manage it to a degree, but it's still pretty much a death sentence. It's like brain cancer. Mm-hmm. It's the same. It's similar in that regard. There's only so much they can do before all hope is lost. But Alex Trebek, I mean, 36 years as the host of Jeopardy. And as far as Jeopardy's concerned, I mean, I work a job in the afternoon. I can't watch it regularly with any frequency. But my grandmother has been watching Jeopardy every single day since, I want to say, the 80s or the 90s. My grandmother's been watching every single day. Her and a lot of people. Yeah, it was a staple. I mean, she'd be watching me or babysitting me. We'd have to watch Jeopardy. We'd have to interrupt whatever the hell we were doing. And like as a kid, Jeopardy's one of those game shows I always say, you don't appreciate it a lot until you're younger or unless you're really smart as a kid. Like me, I didn't like Jeopardy because I really had like, like as a kid, you don't know a lot of that stuff. At least I didn't. Like, you feel stupid. It's like you're watching a show, like, you're not really, it doesn't really feel more like playing along. It feels like an episode of Social Studies.
You had a hard time keeping up with the question, like the phrasing it in the form of a question. I know personally did. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. I remember Bill Maher always said Jeopardy's the game show for smart people and Wheel of Fortune's the game show for morons. But no disrespect to Pat Sajak, Vanna White. But Alex Trebek, though, you want to talk about a master of his domain. The thing that I'll always laud about Alex Trebek from all the Jeopardy I've watched over the years, the guy never or rarely stumbled or mispronounced anything. He was a master, a complete master of his own domain. And he made it look easy. He made it look super easy.
That means he had to have practiced. Even at 36, even in year 36, if he wasn't tripping over words, that still means because it's all new information every game. So he's got to practice. He's got to actually do it. He's got to try. And he's got, and he's always patient. He's always a professional. That's really the word that defines Alex Trebek is goddamn professional, dude. God, just the way he dresses. He's the man a lot of men should strive to be, I think. At least from how they conduct themselves.
I would agree. And he was so humble too. Like he even said, like recently, when everybody was talking about who's going to replace Trebek on Jeopardy, and he even said, he's like, I don't really know. I don't know. I have no say in that. I don't really care. He's like, I just want people to remember me as a good person, as a good person who had a really good life. And like, that's how humble he was. And it's funny with game shows now, because I think the line with game shows has been very blurred with reality TV. That's another conversation. But like when it comes to game shows, especially staple game shows, like Wheel of Fortune, like Jeopardy, and those are really the big two. But when it comes to those,
Price is Right.
And Price is Right, yes, of course, which is still going strong with Drew Carey. But yeah, you're absolutely right on Price is Right too. But like you invite these hosts into your home every single day. There's something, I don't want to say intimate, but there's something homey about
they're like morning hosts, right? They're like talk show morning hosts. They might as well be, or your morning news anchor on your way to work on the radio. Like they really are a part of that. Is American culture right there. Him, Trebek, Regis Philbin, before he passed.
Barker.
Bob Barker, Sajak. They were the faces of America. They had more screen time than a lot of the movie stars out there, right? Just not by pure volume, and it's just astounding that we don't think about the game show scene or that realm too much, but this has been a theme for pretty much the whole year. But I'm sure we've said this at some point during the show, but you don't know what you got until it's gone. And that's what it's like with Trebek now. And honestly, I wasn't even that big of a Jeopardy fan. I didn't really watch Jeopardy that much with any kind of consistency. But I swear to God, and I think everyone can kind of say this. Every now and then, you catch it. Every now and then, you catch it on TV or you catch a clip, and you're like, "I'm feeling this. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch this show today." And no matter which one you saw, no matter what your sample size was that day, or week or whatever, Trebek was there and he was doing it like a goddamn pro, because he was.
100%. I want to say you'll never forget, but I'm sure I'm one of the only people that remember. I remember the first Final Jeopardy. I remember the first Final Jeopardy question I got right. I was watching it with my grandmother. I actually beat my grandmother, and I was probably about 11 years old. And I can still remember the question. I can't remember how it was phrased, but they were talking about coins, American currency, and it was what coin / president. Like I said, I can't remember how it was so eloquently worded, but it was like, what coin / president is the only coin in circulation in America to have a president or to have a figure facing the front and not to the side?
Is that the nickel?
The nickel, Thomas Jefferson.
I remember that, because like that actually that registered to me as to looking weird. I'm like, yeah, he is looking at me. Last time I looked at a nickel, it was God knows how long. But anyway,
yeah. But I remembered that though, because I used to. Fun fact: I collected quarters as a kid. I used to collect all the states.
I did not know that.
And yes, I do. I still have the book.
Who's your favorite? What's your favorite? What's your favorite state or quarter?
Truthfully, I really like Connecticut, even though it's just kind of a barren tree. I just thought like the attention to detail on the branches was pretty exquisite. Yeah. I always liked that one. The Illinois one I always thought was kind of boring and predictable. I'm trying to think of another one though. You really put me on the spot here. Connecticut comes to mind. That's the one I always liked. I'm sure if I thought about it more, I would know. I think Arkansas had a cool one too. But moreover, it was funny though, because I remember getting that Final Jeopardy question right. The pride I felt like I should have got that guy's winnings that day, because I'm like 11 years old. I used to watch with my grandmother a lot. I never really knew, and my grandmother goes, "How do you know that?" And I was like, "Well, number one, I kind of know coins, and number two, they've made so many there was a period of time where they made so many damn variations on the nickel that." I knew that. Well, I knew. I'm like, it has to be the nickel, because they haven't really updated any other coin, at least at the time. But at any rate, though, the other thing to note too about Alex Trebek's passing is that the last couple of weeks he would normally do 5 shows a day, tapings. 5 a day, which had to be exhausting.
I think that's true for a lot of game shows. I think that's true for Wheel of Fortune as well, and probably a lot more, because that's just the most efficient. That makes the most sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I remember Pat Sajak and Vanna White were talking about years ago when they first started doing Wheel. They would do the first 3 shows and then go have lunch. And Pat Sajak goes, it was always more fun when Van and I went out for margaritas and then did the other 2 shows. And then did the other 2 shows buzzed.
Yeah, I was about to say.
He's like, those were the most fun. But anyway, he was down to 3 tapings a day during the final week. During the final weeks of his life. And the fact that the final episode he taped was about 2 weeks ago shows you the commitment to the show that he had in his craft. There's still, I think they said 30-something episodes that need to air, and the final episode is going to air on Christmas. Dude. The final episode.
Oh no! I was like, I gotta cry this Christmas. There's gonna be no family. That might be why. No, I'm just gonna turn on. I'm just gonna watch the Alex Trebek. God damn, that's picture. That's like
it made me
perfect.
sad. It made me sad because I don't know if I'm gonna see my family this holiday season, or at least my grandmother. I'm like, I can't think of something more germane than watching the final Alex Trebek Jeopardy episode on Christmas
Posthumously.
Day with my grandmother. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, but yeah, the final episode's going to air on Christmas. They announced that earlier this week. I will be watching. I'm sure a lot of other people will. And I doubt it's going to be like anything. I don't know if he's going to, I mean, because he had to think of it just another day. I don't think it's going to be like, like him consciously aware this is his final show. There's rumors, though, that he taped a kind of a send-off, that he recorded a send-off.
If you want to cry right now, watch the YouTube videos where, I think on the Jeopardy channel, where Alex Trebek announces that he has pancreatic cancer, and then like it was an update video, and like God, again, he didn't like get super emotional, he didn't cry or anything, and he obviously like wrote it beforehand, but just the way he delivered it and the power of the word. That's the thing. He wasn't even off the cuff. He wrote it beforehand. He wrote those not speeches, but he wrote those videos beforehand, those small update videos. And just the words alone and the way he, like, the warm voice was just like, God damn, you're making me cry already. And you were at the time like, you're still alive. God damn it. So, God damn, this really, you don't know what you got until it's gone. That's absolutely true.